intro.
Okay. We're live. We're live. We're live. Let me go look on here and share this. Yes, yes. Let me make sure it's here. Okay, good. All right. We're straight. I'm sharing it now. All right. All right. All right. Good evening, good morning, and good night to some, depending on where you are. And welcome to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. I'm your host, Charles Dixon, and I'm here with Mr. Adam Ford. How are you, sir?
What's up? Good, man. How you doing?
Yes, pretty good. Today, as you guys can see, we have some comrades in the backdrop here, and they have agreed to come on this great panel of folks, ladies and gents, and they are going to lend their advice to this particular subject. I know you guys are used to us kind of, we kind of normally stay in the dating / single / all things love in that perspective. But today we are venturing out into the marital affairs and things like that. And now, just so you guys know, don't try to beat me up, okay? I'm not going to get on here and talk like I've been married. No, I am going to be the moderator. I'm going to leave it to the professionals, and we're going to go from there. I'll add my 2 cents, because I think I probably had a shenanigan or two to add into there.
Oh, we know you got a shenanigan. We know you got a shenanigan. Y'all just get ready. I'm telling you, just get ready in advance. He's got a shenanigan on the way.
Yes. But other than that, first I'm going to start with you, Maritza. You guys can introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, where you are, and go from there. We can go around the horn like that.
Okay, my name is Maritza. I am the founder of an organization called Enough Prize, and I have been married and divorced once.
Nice. All right.
Hello, everybody. I'm Shantae Middleton. I am a school teacher. I teach 4th grade math, and I'm also a real estate agent, proud mom of 3 adult children, and I have been married twice. So I should have some very interesting things to say.
All right.
I just love her sense of humor. She's like, twice. I got things.
Yeah. I just exposed myself for the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm Carl Surratt, or better known as Carl the Coach to everybody. Actually oversee a group, Dear Brothers, Dear Sisters, with a partner of mine promoting healthy relationships. I'm also a life and relationship coach and then the CEO of a logistics company. And I've been married once, divorced, and I got one more marriage left in me.
Oh, what? I thought Carl was going to say I did it again. Carl said, "No, I got one more literally left in me."
One more.
Just
one
more.
More. It don't work. That's it. I'm done.
Just one more. He's not playing that thing. He's not going to roll the dice twice.
Yeah, Carl said that.
I got one more. That's it.
Hey, I guess this is a no better place than to start from just where Carl left off. So he left with a good point and kind of leading to Shantae's point. Just out of curiosity, from the male side versus, I guess, from the ladies, is there a difference in the hunger to get back on the love wheel again post-divorce? Or do you think it's like the guys may think it's a little different, the ladies may think it's a little different?
Maritza?
Why she volunteer though? Okay.
I've been divorced for 24 years.
Oh wow, okay.
And to be quite honest with you, I don't want to say I'll never do it again, but I'm not in that hunger because I needed to work on myself.
Yeah.
Wow.
To be able the second time around to give a better version of myself.
I love that. And I'm so glad that you said that because I'm there. So I was married for the first time for 14 years. And then the second time we dated for a long time. And then we got married. And unfortunately for me, I knew that I should not have done it. So it didn't last long at all. I did it and I was like, okay, God, get me out of this because that was an act of disobedience. And so I've been divorced now for about 2 years, and I'm in that vein where I'm just kind of learning who I am again, and my children are grown. So it's a lot of self-discovery that I'm going through that I'm enjoying. So there's no real hunger or desire for that because I've given so much of myself to other people. So yeah, I kind of feel the same way in that.
Good. Fellas, Carl?
Yeah. I won't say it was initial hunger. I did know in the midst of, I was married for 20 years. So I knew, as it ended and I came out of it, I knew I wanted to be married. I always tell people I was born to be a husband. I was never born to be a boyfriend. So, that's just real. So I knew I wanted to get married again. I didn't let that, what took place and happened sour my taste, but I also took that time to self-reflect on myself and said, okay, how can I be a better man? How can I be a better husband? What can I do different? Plus, I had custody of both my boys when it ended. So, so it was a big thing too for me to grow for myself and then make sure they understood what it looks like to go through heartache and pain, self-reflection, recovery, and as I came through that, making sure they were good too. I that desire's there. So it's just locking in with the right person to be able to get in that position to get to remarry. But it's just something I desire to do.
Wow, that's a good. You guys, the stuff that you guys are saying are leaving with they're kind of leading on to the good points. And what you said something, Carter, made me think. It's like when you said, you had to deal with the heartache and kind of returning your wheels in your brain to kind of conceptualize it all. That makes a good point because from what I gather, there is a difference. Like the way sometimes the marriages make the difference towards your readiness. Let's just say if you wasn't the person that wanted to end it. So you're dealing with a lot of the heartbreak, right? Versus a person that was like, well, I'm done. So even though they still have feelings, they're human, but they're processing it different because their mind is, I'm hitting north, I'm out of here. So it's kind of like a different exit. So it kind of makes things feel a little different.
Yeah. Just to say what, you gonna let me say something? Do I get a chance to say something?
I didn't want to just assume, but go ahead.
I mean,
go ahead, Adam.
Thank you. So from my aspect of it, I don't think I really had a desire. It wasn't a drive necessarily, but I was not opposed to the idea of marriage again after divorce. I think for me, and I don't know if the others can attest to this fact or not, one of the things that I did do that was recommended to me, and I'm glad this person suggested this, was that I go into therapy after the divorce to get some closure, to get some healing, to get some reflection on both our parts in terms of who were responsible for what, how not to do the same things again, what to look for in future relationships. And I think that kind of made me more open to the idea because I think at the heart of me, I'm still a romantic. I still believe in love. I still believe in hope. I still believe in commitment and fidelity. So at the end of the day, again, it wasn't necessarily a drive, but I was not opposed to the idea of marriage again.
Adam, you made a great point because one of the things that I did want to say in this is that I still believe in marriage as well. I believe it is honorable. I believe that it is kingdom. I do believe that God desires family and relationship because we're not alone. We're not an island. We need each other. And therapy. Thank God for therapy because, maybe sometimes we go through these things to really figure out what we need and what we should be doing. And I am so grateful for the Lord and therapy because you don't want to repeat those same mistakes because we just call ourselves falling in love, right? You fall in love and you just feel like the next reasonable step is marriage without really contemplating that decision and what that really means. And for me, being divorced twice, it's almost like I dare not even think about getting married again. Who wants to say, it's kind of like I don't even want to say. However, I do want whatever God wants for my life if I move myself out of the way, because of course that second one just, not that I want to make a terrible thing. It just, can I say this real quick?
Sure.
Maybe a mother who is a single mom, right, raising their children, and sometimes maybe feeling like you can't do any better, or that this person is accepting me and all that I have to bring to the table that may sometimes look like baggage, right? Not that your children are baggage, but it's a lot to think that someone is accepting you and your children. And I remember from the wisdom of my youngest daughter, she said, Mommy, I feel like you went down a checklist, like you got everybody's opinion, right?
Oh,
do you like him? How do you feel about him? And how does he make you feel? And do you guys like, I wanted everybody else's approval. Except hearing from God about the situation. And that was huge coming from a 16-year-old, right? And that kind of wisdom to say, did you really talk to God about that? Or did it just look good on paper? Right. So it takes a lot to take a step back and really understand what marriage is and what relationship is, because I do believe in it. I believe in the sanctity of it. And I'm not going to maybe not hope for it again, but it will definitely be with a different mindset for sure.
I agree. I feel like often we think with our hearts. We want to be loved so bad, and we want to be wanted and loved, but we think with our hearts and not think logically.
Right.
So we do go down that list of approval of everyone else, but not really thinking what is it that you need in your life, not what you want in your life.
Wow, that's good stuff. I have so this is a question that's been always swirling around in my brain when it comes to, whether it's the man or the woman, when it comes to the realization of the divorce, when it happens and when it's over, how does that conceptualize in your brain to say, let's just say, Tay, I use your example. You were like, oh, I was married for 14 years. So then you go from being married to being single. So when you go back out into the world, are you thinking to yourself, I'm the married single girl? Or are you saying I'm single again? Like, are you embracing that you're single and you're not married? I wonder a lot of times, how does that work coming out of being in something where it was so like mechanical for so long, you're used to it. Then you come out of it and you have to fall into this reality of, wait, I'm no longer a husband. I'm no longer a wife. I'm single. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I think, first of all, most of us get divorced. It's just the paper part, but the breakdown of the relationship has already happened, and it's almost like you've already done that grieving part. It always felt like being married, my first marriage, because we had family, that it was like having gangrene, right? You have this disease in your arm, but it's still a part of you. So you have this hard decision. Do I let it continue to fester and not be healthy, or do I get rid of that part? So that one was a little harder, but the process had already taken place. And so when it took place, I think I was more in survival mode than thinking about, am I single? Am I ready to date again? It was, I got 3 children. I got to keep it moving.
I got to make it happen. Right?
You don't really have time to sit and contemplate a lot, which is why I think going into the second situation, I should have went to therapy. I should have paused. I should have, but you have somebody to come in your life, and what I said before, they accept things and they're feeding into parts of you that were missing before. Right. So you don't have a chance to process. You're just like, oh my God, he's dating me. Oh my God, he's listening to, And again, it's like all the things that look good, but never really taking the time like I'm doing now to actually figure out who is Shantae as not just a mother or a divorced woman, but you are Shantae. Like, what is your purpose? What are your gifts? What are the things you like? Sometimes you don't even know what your favorite food is. Somebody is asking you, you're on the date, like, what is your favorite food? I don't even know, because I don't know that I've ever had an opportunity to sit and think about what I want, because I had children that I had to feed. Everything was about them. So now I really am pondering some of those questions. Like, what do you like to do? Which I hate dating questions, because I'm like, I don't really know. I'm trying to figure that out, which is why I'm so good where I am right now. I can't even give a proper answer to some of the basic questions that people ask, right?
So. Wow, that's good. Carl, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, like I said, again, it was a process. When you spend half your life with somebody
Mhm.
You know, you really, because I mean, 20 years married, but we were together almost 24. So at the time, 23 years, I should say. So that's a lot. And so you're processing. But I always tell people, you know, one of the things I realized was I lost myself within my marriage, you know, because it was her and the kids. Everything I did was for her and the kids. Really didn't do it for Carl. So it's like Shantae was saying, I had to figure out myself when I came out the marriage, you know, and, you know, I even made a shirt and said, date yourself, you know, and I wore it and I went out and I took myself out on dates because I was like, okay. And I realized there were things I did with her. It's like, I did it for her. I didn't like this, you know, but I did it because she was my spouse. You know, just being honest, you know, so now I'm like, I don't like that. Oh, I didn't like that food. No, I did it for them. So, and it's what you do when you're married, you know, you compromise. So now it was like, okay, I got to discover who Carl is now, who is 48-year-old Carl at that time, you know, and what do I need, you know, from somebody if I go that direction again. So I had to really rediscover me, go out and have fun, date myself. Wasn't worried about going out on a date with anybody. I just took myself out, restaurants, movies, golf by myself. I mean, I just went out and had a blast, and I was like, oh, I'm enjoying this. This is cool, you know, and this is fun. And I had a good time doing that. So, you know, like I can't answer a couple of those questions, you know, when people ask them, you have to learn how to date differently. See, when I dated, you know, I'm old school. So, you know, you go back when you were dating, you were in a relationship. Now, if you're dating, you're seeing other people. So it's like you have to define boundaries. So I had to learn all these new terms and lingos out here. And I was just like, you know, so here I am, you know, pulling my sons, you know, hey, what's this mean? You know, I got to get, you know, my teenage and my college age son, you know, I need to know what this means. And they look at me like,
all the terms.
Yeah, I don't know none of that stuff. I'm like, what's this mean? Look at the text message. Somebody saying, what's this break? I don't know what that means. What's it? You know, so it was interesting. Like I said, you know, I knew, you know, and again, I never said I was divorced. I just became single. You know, my marriage ended. You know, I looked at it from that standpoint. I was a single, you know, I went back to being single, you know, accordingly. And I moved that direction. But again, like I said, I had to still rediscover who I was and what I liked because what I didn't want to do is repeat date the same person. I think one of the things a lot of people end up doing, they end up dating the same person in a different body because they don't go to therapy and they don't break down the different barriers of why something may have failed before. And I didn't want to have that happen. Plus I didn't, you know, and then I didn't want to bleed on the next person.
Ooh,
that's a good point. Yeah.
Good.
Marissa, how would you say, maybe from your perspective, how did you process mentally your path forward post your split?
I think my story is a little bit different from Carl and Tay is because I got married at a young age, I got pregnant and being raised in a Christian household, I tried to make the wrong to right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I loved my daughter's father. Great guy.
That's all right. I'm teasing. Yeah.
But I was not in love with him. But I loved him because at an early age, we took on that responsibility together.
Right.
And we learned from each other. So when we decided to go our separate ways, it wasn't any ill feelings because we both knew, like, we grew apart because we got older and we got more mature and we realized this is not what I want for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but that's why I said I'm not opposed to marrying again. I just have not met who I'm comparable with and to be equally yoked with.
Yeah.
Because if you date just to date to kill time, like Carl said, you know, you're not just dating one guy now. You may date a person, but he's dating different.
Everybody. Yeah.
Right.
And then you think you're the only one, but there's more people to that.
I can't
I don't know how you get clear, be like, we're exclusive. Like, is that just throw in there? Like, hey, we're dating. We're exclusive.
Yeah. You know what? So,
are we seeing other people? Yeah.
All right.
Are you seeing other people? Am I the only person? If they say no, and there's a rotation, I'm out. I rotate myself out. I can only do one person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think
that's what's so hard for me, Carl, when you talked about I don't know how to date. There's so much lingo, so many people with opinions about how. I'm confused, honestly. It's like you said, you meet someone, you date. Aren't you dating to get data, right? To figure out if this person, so they should be dating other people, right? You don't just meet someone and then it's exclusive. And I'm just super confused over all of it because I'm like, you guys, I'm older. You've met people in your past and maybe you end up in a relationship or you end up married. And now you're in this position to where I just don't know. It's just all very confusing. I feel like I'm in a safe space right now. Because you just don't know. Or like you said, when do you have the conversation to say, are we still seeing other people? When do you have that conversation? 6 weeks in, 6 months in?
I think it's
to Charles. I was just speaking. I'm sorry, Charles, to interrupt you. I was just speaking to Charles, like dating, we don't get to date, like we don't get to know the person.
Yeah.
Like I think what, at our age group, I'm going to, for myself, the men that have dated, they just want to go straight to like, okay, we ate dinner. Like you're going to my place, I'm going to your place. Hold up.
Right.
Like, I don't know you.
Right.
You don't know me. I mean, you may not like me. I may not like you. So let's pause and let's get to know each other. Let's get to know what you're about, what I'm about, what you like, what I don't like. I think that's personally that's my issue nowadays when I date. Like I want to get to know you. Like you said, I want to get to know what you like to eat for dinner. I like to know what's your favorite color. I like to know you like walk in the park. Like what is it about you? And I think that's this generation, and they're real quick to just go to first base.
I think it's listening to you guys, realistically, honestly, it's an unfortunate time, to be honest, for anyone to be offloaded from marriage. Nowadays, it's like you said, it's a total different mindset. And it's almost like if you think about your phones and you notice how we'll be using our phones and doing things regular, getting used to it, and then something to come up and say, hey, you have a new update available, right? It's time to change your things and all the things about your phone, and it's new technology available. So in dating, it's the same concept. It's like people used to doing things regular and like, all right. But nowadays, it's a whole different monster. Dating is looked at a lot more casual, and because people, and I think a lot of the difference was, Carl and Adam, back in the day, I think women governed more of the structure of dating, and the men, we kind of fell in with it because we like them, right? Nowadays, some women have pivoted. They've changed. It's no longer those particular things that we're used to seeing. Now that veil is dropped, and it's just like, oh yeah, I'm okay with being friends. I see you at the weekend, where you live, send me your address. It's a different day and time, and so you're like, wait, so you're kind of used to getting some resistance, seeing some of those standards. And nowadays, like you said, with everything being plastered everywhere, you look online, everybody's naked, everybody's outside. It's a different ball game. So you got to really be really wise about how you move, because it's really I can see it being really tough.
Can I just say that when I started dating, when I got divorced, I was scared. I was so scared, and I think that was one of the reasons why I stayed married as long as I did, because I had no idea what was out there. I was like, oh no, you're not getting me caught up in the trap.
For sure.
I mean, I was like, oh no, sir. And thankfully, Brother Charles had my back in terms of helping me to know what to do and how to move or whatever like that. But dude, are you serious right now? That's why if you have watched this show any length of time, I say I am so thankful to be married today. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
There's something else you leave off too. There's another thing you always leave off too.
What's that?
Yeah, my wife. Anyway, so I'm kidding, man. Anyway, no. So this brings me to my next point. Do you guys feel like when you are in that space of transition, and like you said, so you're starting to think about dating someone, and you're asking those questions. Do you think you're looking for a potential partner as if they are in spouse mode, or are you embracing it from, I'm single, maybe this person has been married before, maybe they have, I'm just open? Is it easy for you to kind of be looking for another wife like, or another husband like, as opposed to dating a person in general?
All right, Carl, you got that.
I think y'all gonna do that.
So I saw you thinking.
Yeah, I'm trying to get thoughts together. So for me, yeah, I only date women who are actually considering, or no, let me take that back, who desire to be married. So whether she turns out to be my wife or not, it's a different story, because every woman's not going to be my wife. I get that. So, but if you're like, well, if you can change my mind, or I'll think about it, then it's a no for me in the beginning, because I'm dating with the intent to marry again. Yeah. So I don't but I don't go out. Now, this is something I did for a minute, and I stopped it. I had a checklist, and I felt like it became robotic because of the checklist. So I couldn't have, I didn't feel like I was having as much fun because I was doing the checklist. Like, okay, did she check this off? Did she check that off? So when you come away from that, then I got into a better place of, okay, I'm having fun. Let me go out and just enjoy this person. And can I have fun with this person? Can we laugh? Can we talk? Can we conversate? Can we have simple conversations, not about who's, Cheesecake Factory, or where we're going to date, not about 50-50, not about this other stuff, but can we just have adult conversations about life, have fun, and enjoy each other? And that made a difference for me, kind of like I said. So when I'm out, those are the things I'm looking for. Where is that common thread between the two of us? Versus, like I said, I can't date somebody just like what I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. Mm-hmm. I don't have time. I mean, I got less days in front of me than I did behind me. So I'm not doing that. I don't have time to be waiting for you to figure that out. So yeah, I'm definitely, when I'm talking to someone in the beginning stage, that's a question. And it said before, when do you ask certain questions? Out the gate.
So you will ask that question on your first date?
I have well, you might not even get me on a first date. If you're not looking for marriage, I'm not even taking you out. See,
but that's what I'm saying. So you're having a conversation, like, let's
beforehand. Yes.
Beforehand, phone conversation.
Yeah, so phone conversations.
Asking on a phone call.
Yeah.
Without actually having a sit down yet.
Yeah, I can have that conversation. Like, what are you dating for? What is your intentions on dating? What are you dating for? I mean, I don't have to ask, do you want to get married? But if you sit there and say, well, I'm just trying to figure out my life and, to see how things go. Okay, well, I appreciate that. I mean, it's just who you are. But again, yeah, that's why I tell people we got to be very conscious in this dating realm. That's why I don't like dinner dates. I don't. You don't get to, you're trying to, you're trying to do all this stuff. Right. No, okay. I feel like I still feel like even if you talk on the phone for weeks, I still feel like a coffee meetup, maybe go grab a glass of wine somewhere, a smoothie, walk in the park. All those things are the best things to do, because you get to vibe with that person and you get to go forward from there. And then you go, and then even from there, go out and have fun. Because like I said, go to what are these places like Dave and Buster's, the event center, bowling, golf, whatever. Do something fun, an art exhibit. And see if this person even wants to interact like that. Because sitting and eating is one thing, but interacting and having fun with someone, it makes things different. And it does set the mode to ask different questions, because now you're just conversating. And all you do, if you listen long enough and listen to people's actions, you'll know where they're at real quick. It don't take long.
Right, for sure.
Wow, Carl, I think I got all the notes that I need moving forward. Oh my God.
But that is so true. Going out to dinner on a first date, to me, I think that's just way too formal. You don't get to really be you and laugh and, have a good conversation. I mean, it's just too formal for me for a first date. But some other females say differently. You want the top of the notch restaurant, you know.
Yes, I was going to say you're perfectly right, because now the trending, as we all see, the trending thing now is, you know, what's sufficient for a first date and things like that. But not everybody looks at it from the way you guys are saying that. Hey, I'm open to it being somewhere different as long as we can collect data, get to know each other. I think if I was just a fly on the wall looking at these conversations about these restaurants and things like that, I think we get to a point where we tie our esteem to someone's actions. Like the level of your self-esteem shouldn't be tied to the actions or where someone takes you or how they treat you. That should be something you have already yourself, right? And whatever else happens is just icing on the cake. But it shouldn't be dependent on, wait a minute, we're not going to such and such steakhouse, let me out the car. It shouldn't be like that. That's where it is nowadays. It's a little, you know, crazy. So here's another turning curve I have. And I have a reason for asking this question, but to you guys, when you are deciding or when you have, for some that may have crossed that bridge, what does ready look like to you? Like when you're meeting the woman, when you're meeting the guy, what makes you say, oh, I think they're ready? I have a trick reason for asking this question. I'm just curious what you got.
Ready for what? I need you to
no, okay,
ready for what?
Let me start with the story then. I'll make it really quick, Adam.
Yeah, the story. I see it on the
when you said ready, that could be a lot of things.
Yeah,
exactly. I remember dating someone, and don't be too hard on me about my answer to the person. It was probably me. It was years ago, but I'm just going to tell you what I thought. I was dating this person. She had gotten divorced, and she was recently divorced. She had 2 kids, and she would always say to me, I like you, my kids like you, and we get along so well. And so it felt like she had an agenda, whether I was ready for it or not. I just had to show up. Like I felt like I was just there, but in her mind, she wanted this attrition to happen, whether I agreed or not. So I'm listening to her. And she would talk about the kids and how we were all enjoying ourselves. And then she said to me, you know, I ask myself sometimes, is Charles ready? Are you ready? And I would say, what do you mean? You know, like, are you there to be a husband? Like, are you ready? And so I asked her, and this is probably where it got mean. I wasn't trying to be mean, but I asked her, I said, well, what does ready look like to you? I said, because you're asking me, am I ready? So what does it look like to you? And she said, well, you know, like, because my ex-husband, you know, he met me and he said, you know, he had never met anyone like me. And he said, he's not going to be a fool to leave me out here. So we got married. And so I said, can I go? She said, yeah. I said, so you said that he was ready, correct? She said, yeah. I said, but then later you told me you guys had children. He wasn't in their life. He was married to you, but he was really more about the mother, about his wife than he was the kids. She said she had to remind him to do things with them because they would ask about him, but he was just always up under her. Then she said he would spend these random weekends out, and he comes back on Monday with a story. Women were DMing him about his infidelity. She said he was bad with him spending the bill money, all these things. And so I said, I'm not being funny, but I'm asking you this because you're asking me, am I ready? I said, so what good is ready if ready quits? That's what I asked her. I said, what good is ready? I said, is ready really ready if ready quits? I said, from my perspective, ready is a ready that completes. If you're going to complete it and you're going to consistently fight for it, that's ready. That's a ready mindset to me. But I guess I was asking you guys this because it's a thing that, you know, sometimes women will say that. Women will say, are you ready? And it's like, okay, so what's your version of ready? Because ready looks different to everyone. That's the only reason why I said that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, you
Adam, I was going to say Adam because Adam's been married twice, so I wanted to see, like, from a male perspective.
What ready looks like. You put the hood on. Really? So check this out. So, and then, you know, you made a really good point when you said ready doesn't, okay, so apparently that ready wasn't ready enough for her in order to fulfill the commitment that he had made in terms of the vows that they had exchanged. Yeah. But I think honestly, Ready has to do with your mindset in terms of how you walk into the relationship. And this is one of my pet peeves when it comes to relationships, how you actively participate in the relationship, that you don't disengage in the relationship, but you stay perpetually always prepared and ready for whatever that relationship may have in store with it. And I think it's important that we don't walk into relationships thinking that we have accomplished a goal. Okay, yeah, you got married, but now here is the real task. The real task is maintaining the relationship. I mean, because we've all been there in terms of us thinking that we were ready. Yeah. But for whatever reasons, we are divorced. You know what I'm saying? And so it's important that we understand, okay, I'm about to do this again. Do I really have what it takes? Am I completely prepared to see this all the way through to the end? And I think it's important that we all have that, we all evaluate ourselves and ask ourselves that question, because before I make this next vow, before I give you my word, which is bond, I need to make sure that I am prepared to do whatever it takes for the sustaining of this relationship, however long it lasts. And I don't want to ever walk in, and this is me personally, I don't want to ever walk into something not completely prepared. Not saying that I'm going to do something, but I don't have enough resources or energy or time or money or what have you to be able to meet it to its complete goal. And I think it's important. So her ready, maybe let's do it like this. So maybe she wasn't ready either. My thing is, if I'm in a relationship with you and if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, then I need somebody on my level to call me out on my trash.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Me personally, I'm sorry. Whether I was interested in her on that level or not, to me, I was being cognizant. Like even though I was interested in her, I still understood that, hey, you just recently got out of this situation from the person. And so whether I liked you on that level or not, I was patient enough to say, let the process play out. Like, I'm not trying to come right on back over there and 3 months later we're engaged. I let it play out. But in her mind, she was taking my patience the wrong way. She was thinking, oh, you must not be that serious. Well, you're not that serious. You just got divorced. Like, hello. That's the way I saw it anyway.
I only speak from my own personal experience, and I'm going to shut up after this. It only comes through the process of that relationship. And being in a relationship with someone, you steadily build and prepare the relationship to be ready for the next step. That means I work on me, you work on you. And when we get to that stage to be able to commit to one another, we're both prepared for whatever it takes to make this relationship absolutely successful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
So,
Is it a natural thing for you guys, or just people in general? This is like a corporate question. Is it a natural thing when we divorce to automatically spin the narrative forward? Oh, yeah, it didn't work out because of they didn't, or she didn't, he didn't. Or is it something that we honestly say to ourselves, yeah, that relationship dissolved, but I'm sure there was things that probably we both should have did that could have made it right. Is that how we think, or we dismiss? Because most time I hear people talk forward, they dismiss the whole, they always kind of give you the narrative of, yeah, it's over because of that, and they did this, and that's it. But they don't really give you the true, the whole holistic picture of it.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
I'm sorry. I would hope that we do that in any relationship, because everything is not always someone else.
Right.
For sure.
You always want to say that it's somebody else, but you had a role to play in this situation as well. I think my second one, I just don't have much to say about it because I just shouldn't have done it. So probably anything that he did was going to bother me. You know what I mean? It is what it was, right?
Yeah.
But my 14-year relationship was different. It was just different. I don't know. Divorce is hard, but there is, like you said, life after it.
Yeah.
And when you talk about ready for me, because of the experiences that I had, it shaped who I'm trying to be. So I feel like I'm trying to be the person that can show up for him, but also show up for myself.
Yeah.
I don't care if you marry a man that has money, you're going to get treated different because he's got the money and you don't, right? I'm like, I've been there. I don't want that situation again. Yeah. I've been in a situation where, you know, the second marriage, I was like, oh, 2 is better than 1, right? My checklist. 2 is better than 1. You just a school teacher, girl. You don't really make no money. You trying to take care of these babies. You know, they weren't babies, but it was just a checklist. But what I do appreciate is my life after I realized that I don't need another human being. I don't need a man to be successful. I don't need it. I welcome it. I don't want to have to do all the things that I do by myself. But what I do know is that I can, because I do make the money now, right? I do feel that I am a viable partner, not someone who needs a partner, but I want to be a partner. So I'm making sure that I'm becoming what I want to see in my next relationship.
That's awesome.
So I get it right. So my reflection is that I can show up the way that I've always wanted to, so that we can both be happier. Because I'm sure when you feeling bad about who you are as a person, that shows that low self-esteem. It shows up in relationships.
Yeah. You know, Shantae and I, just shout out to Shantae. You're doing great, Shantae. Shantae and I go way back in the music days, church days. I've known Shantae for years. And so when I listen to her regurgitate her story, I vaguely remember times where we would check on one another as friends. And I'll say, hey, how you doing? And I remember those conversations with Shantae going through her process. So I can definitely vouch for that. I remember those times where she would just be like, I don't know, Charles. And we would just have those straight up conversations. And I would just be turning the wheels and I'll be like, it's going to be all right. You'll be to the other side. Don't worry. It'll pass. And so I can definitely understand how that is.
I'm grateful for the other side.
I think, like she said, it's just, I don't think we don't need anyone. We just, at our age, we want that companion. We want that to laugh again. We want to share experiences. We want to, and we worked on each other, on each, you know, within ourselves to become a better version for that next person that comes. So, I mean, I don't think anybody wants to be single. I think we all want to, you know, one day be married, but it's just, again, it's a matter of getting to know that person and how comparable we are with that person, respecting that person's value and as an individual, who they are. Because I think Carl said he lost himself in his marriage. He was eating things that he didn't even like to eat, but he did it for her. Like, I think we shouldn't lose ourselves. Like, still be who you are and bring it, you know, we should be able to embrace it and bring it into the relationship.
You know what? Can I just say real quick, and I know Carl was talking about that kind of like, it kind of like, it messed with my mind a little bit. He's doing stuff that he don't want to do. And I'm like, bro, come on, man. You can be free, man. Come on, you ain't got to do it. But here's my point in saying that. I think on this side of the divorce, in terms of seeking possible potential relationships, that's one of the things that I take in my conversation when I'm talking to the person that I'm interested in. That I'm not going to sit here and just do everything that you want to do, because now I have learned me, and I've learned me well enough to know there are some things that I'm not going to do.
Not going to do.
Yeah.
And don't start it because that's what you guys are doing, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There are some things you're going to enjoy to love. There are going to be some things that you absolutely enjoy. I'm not going to enjoy it. I ain't going to eat it. It didn't taste good. I didn't like it. Don't bring it back over here. I'm not playing. Don't bring it back over here. I'm just saying.
On, Adam, you can taste it though. Listen.
There have been some things that I've tasted that my wife has introduced me to, and she knows. Don't bring this dude nothing else again. Don't bring him now one more piece of fruit that looks strange because he didn't grow up eating that. But I'm open to the idea. Here's my point. You should be able to say no and it be okay.
Exactly.
That's my point. In any relationship, you should be able to say no and they be okay with your no, just like they would be okay with your yes. Come on, y'all.
Right.
Come on, y'all.
All right. Here's the speed section. I'm gonna throw things at you all, and you just give your gut response and go from there. Number one, this is gonna be a true or false question. A person's childhood experience and view of marital/parenting examples are paramount to their marital experience. True or false?
True.
I'll say true.
Go ahead, Tay. Good.
I'm the overthinker in the group.
Okay.
I'm thinking about what you're saying. I can't say yes or no, because sometimes you think, well, if this person grew up in a 2-parent home, then they're going to also have a successful marriage, right? I grew up in a single parent home. So, but I know a lot of people who grew up in a beautiful marital family with a mom and dad stay together for 50 years, and they've been divorced several times. So I don't think it's a really easy question to ask, because what people did to stay married back then, I don't know that we're really trying to do that now. If we really listen to their story, are you willing to be that person to stay together for 50, 60 years?
Yeah. I think Derek gave it a good. Derek gave it. He put it right down the middle. He said it good. He said impactful, but not paramount. That's
yeah. Like that's why I couldn't say a yes.
Yeah, that's good. All right. In your opinion, what part of marriage causes the most contention? Money, communication, sex.
Communication.
And I just learned recently, just because you communicate does not mean that you understand.
That's true.
Ooh. That's true. So you have real communication.
That person does not understand what you're communicating, so there will always be that misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And I recently learned that out of a relationship. And I was like, but I'm communicating, but I realized he wasn't understanding.
Yeah.
So are you communicating? Came up again the same problem because he wasn't understanding what I was communicating.
Do you think you were clear?
Listen.
Okay.
All right. I feel I was, but again, I mean, I felt I was. I like to have sit downs and speak and talk how certain things make me feel.
Yeah.
And I give you that open opportunity to say, well, what do you mean by that? And I'll give you examples of how something made me feel. But again, that communicating, he wasn't understanding. Like,
oh, that is so good.
Wow, that's really good.
Let me add this real quick to that. So, when we're in relationships, comprehension is, like I said, to me is just as important as what the person's saying. Like you said, are they comprehending? So what we have to do is, because we communicate one way, so I communicate one way at work, overseeing my company. I communicate one way there. Yeah. I communicate differently in a relationship. I communicate to my sons differently. When I'm coaching, I communicate differently. So what we have to do is we have to learn how to communicate for them to understand. See, I think so. Sometimes we'll say, well, I know how to communicate. Do you? Because if they're not comprehending and they're asking and you're repeating yourself, are we really communicating to a person's understanding? You know, and I think that encompasses a lot of different things. It's kind of like he popped up on there. It'll cause a problem with a lot of things that we deal with in a relationship. You know, we communicate how finances work. We might not be, and sometimes the lack of communication causes a false expectation that doesn't get fulfilled.
Yes. If I haven't learned anything else, that is it. This level of expectation that we have or that we put on other people, and then when they don't meet it, that's where everything crumbles. Because we didn't communicate. And I had to work on that because I'm a very introverted, quiet person. I like to observe and I don't like to rock the boat. So I was in a marriage where I was like, I don't want to say that because I don't want any tension in the house. I'm dying inside. I wouldn't say anything because I didn't want contention. I didn't want, but the conflict is good though.
It absolutely is.
I had to reimagine life, reimagine the way that I exist, because now I look at conflict as being a good thing. Like we need to come together, like Maritza said, and have these difficult conversations and love each other enough to say, okay, that was hard to say, but I'm going to say it because I'm never going to keep that to myself again. I'm not dying for anybody.
That's right.
Right. And I'm going to be heard. And if you don't like it, I'm okay with you not liking it, but I'm not going to quiet myself to make anybody happy again. Respectfully, though, you know.
Yeah.
Do we go into these conversations open? Like you said, you know, you go in to dump and say, this is how I'm feeling and I need you to know it. But are you also, not you, Tay, but people, are you open to also hear the other side? To sometimes that result.
I'm a parent first.
Yeah.
I feel that as being a parent first, it has taught me so much about every other relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we don't even have the time for everything that I have experienced. But my kids will say to me, you know, just because older people talk to y'all like that back in the day, don't mean that we want to be talked to that way. And I'm thinking, I say what I'm your mother. I say what I want. And then you have to take a step back and say, no, you can't.
Right.
You know, just because you're their mother does not give you a right to be disrespectful in your tone or have them come and tell you that I don't like the way that you said that to me. I called my daughter a little girl and she was totally offended.
Wow.
I call you a little girl. She was like, Mommy, I don't like that. Do I take it and say, I call you what I want because I'm your mother and I pay bills? I'm going to take a step back and say, I disrespected her. She doesn't like being called a little girl. I gotta take that in and make sure that I don't do that again.
Right.
So I feel like for me, being a parent has also helped me cross over into relationships that I want to be checklist. I like alpha males too. So I definitely want a man who can tell me in a good way, girl.
You
in
wrong.
a respectful way.
In a respectful way, right? But you know that's a little attractive when they can kind of, you know, you're not going to talk to me like that.
Constructive criticism.
You're not going to.
I'm open for constructive criticism. Like I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. So if, you know, if someone tells me, hey, you know, the way you went about that didn't make me feel okay, let me step back and let me evaluate that. And I'm more aware next time that it happens. I'm like, okay, pause for a minute, you know.
Yeah.
Quick question, guys. How long is it reasonable enough to live in the realm of I'm separated? How long is it reasonable? Because you know, nowadays we get done, we separate, and we go about lives, dating, doing things, and there's not a lot of clarity. You just tell people, well, you know, this is right now, it's too expensive, whatever the case, the narrative. But these things can go on and on and on and on. That's why I was just curious what you guys thought about that.
I'm gonna say this real quick. If you tell me you separated, I'm automatically hitting the block button. So I'm not even entertaining it. And my business partner, he tells me I'm the king of block. I'm just being real about that. I don't, and even, you know, I was on dating apps and stuff like that. And as soon as I saw separate, I was done, because now I used to live in North Carolina, and you know, with North Carolina, when you file, you have to be separated out the house 12 months and 1 day before you can even file. So, so you see a lot of people out, you know, separate, you know, people term it now, separate is the new single, you know, and then it's also an excuse for some people to cheat. Oh, I'm separated, but they're still married. They're going home to that spouse every day. But that's a whole another story. That's why, and I always tell people, I don't deal with separated people because you never know if somebody rekindles their marriage. So I'm not going to be the downfall of that. And why I wouldn't date when I was separated was, what if I fell for somebody and my ex wanted my, you know, wife at the time to say that we came back and decided wanted to work things out. She realized she made a mistake. Oh, let's work things out. We got 20 years. Somebody's going to get hurt.
Right.
So why I tell people, and I know people say it ain't nobody's business. The relationship's been over. Move along. Just, you know, if they separate, they want to date, let them do what they want to do. But I trust me, I've seen firsthand what dating a separated person, not me personally doing it, but other people, what they've gone through and the heartache, even how it's had an effect on kids, you know. So there's no timetable separated. I don't care. I'm not dating nobody separated. And I'm not dating a newly divorced person either. You know, you need time to process and heal. I don't care how long you tell me the relationship is over. You need time, because I dated too fast after I got divorced, and I almost burned the person. I had to stop and say, hey, I'm going to hurt you.
Oh, wow. That's
Because
notable.
I'm not ready.
Yeah.
I'm going to hurt you. We have to end this. I know that hurts, but I may hurt you more because I'm not really ready for this.
Right.
Wow.
Thank you for that.
Man, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's great for me to personally hear like a male perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't get that. I don't have my parents, I don't have a dad who really taught me anything about relationships. And so all we ever hear is the man is the villain in every relationship.
Yeah.
Like they have feelings too. I know they do. They're not cold-hearted people. So it's nice to hear a male perspective about all of this, about love again and life again and wanting to be in relationships. And thank you, Carl, because I'm just really taking it in about what I could start looking for as it relates to dating and knowing that there are men who do want more than just, okay, let's hang out. Let's hang out.
That's the common thing, hang out.
Or texting me hi in 20 different languages. I told her, girlfriend, if you say hi to me one more time, you're gonna me to death. Do you have a plan? Do you want to go get coffee? Why do you keep saying hi? Then it'll be hola and
right.
I'm done.
All right, last question, guys, really quick. What does we co-parent well really mean? Like when people say we co-parent very well, but in some cases it may be legit co-parenting. In some cases, it's an opportunity to still have a snapshot of family. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I've seen people do the holiday thing. Oh, he's coming, he's flying here from so-and-so. He's going to be here with me and the kids. Are you guys divorced or not? Like, hello. You get a little bit of all that stuff out there.
I will speak. I know when my kids are grown now, so I don't, like they have their own lives and relationship with their dad. But I remember when they were younger, especially for graduation, my ex-husband at that time he remarried, and I invited them to my house instead of spending money in a hotel, and I said, hey, you guys can, stay in the basement. You got your kitchen, bathroom, all your necessities downstairs instead of spending money.
Yeah.
The guy that I was dating at that time did not feel comfortable with that. So I was really stuck because I'm like, he's married and he's in the basement. And we didn't have a bad breakup. We just went our separate ways.
Right.
But up to this day, he's my friend. It did not work out. And our kids are grown. I don't speak to him anymore. But if, when my daughters got married, he came down again with his wife and we went out for breakfast and we went out for lunch and we went out to DC sightseeing and we took pictures as a family. But
so back then when he came, you said he came alone or with his person?
No, he came with his wife.
Yeah.
That first time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so I can see if he came alone and you was
like,
oh,
he came with his wife.
Yeah, for sure.
He came with his wife. And up to this day, like if they happen to be in town, they can stop by the house and I'm cooking dinner and we're all chatting in the table like.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool. It's all cool.
I kind of have Maritza's story too. Charles, my kid's father, we're like best friends.
Yeah.
The marriage didn't work, but we are best friends. Like we love our kids. And even though they're 23, 20, and 18, we're still in a family chat.
Yeah.
Making sure that those kids still know that they are supported by both their parents.
Exactly.
And I would hate to date someone that was too insecure about that because he's going to always be my friend. And I recently just went out to dinner to meet his new friend because he was like, Tay, I like her. I would like for you to meet her. I was like, are you kidding me? I said, we are for real a reality TV show. Like, if you know my life, it's so full of chaos.
He's a good spirit character guy. He's a good
guy, right? And so I feel like my life is just a beautiful, hot mess. But it's
that's your book, Tay. That's your book title.
I told you, I do have one. Praise God. I know I have one. But just really quickly, we didn't work out as a couple, but we respect each other as people and for the children that we still have, because one day they're going to have children and I want that to continue. But I was going to say, yeah, he asked me to meet the girlfriend and I was like, we are crazy. But sure, I'll come over. And we had the best time. So I do know that people can love and communicate and forgive and live happily ever after if they choose to do so. It doesn't mean everybody's going to work out that way.
Yeah.
Just want to say this real quick, John. No good time. So mine ended the wrong way. You know, I would say, you know, again, there was a covenant breaking. I'll just say it that way nicely out of my end. Yeah. And so it didn't go well, even though I still wanted my marriage even after that. But it was a lot of at the same time, though, I always still maintain a level of respect. I still try to be decent, cordial, but it's taken 6 years, almost 7, to get to the point where, we can laugh, we can joke, because she, at the time when I married her, was my best friend, you know. Our boys have gotten to see. So both of you had different types of divorces where you guys were friends, but I'm telling people, you can get back to a place where you can communicate. She understands, no, I don't want you back. Don't think there's ever going to be an opportunity for us to get back together. It's never going to happen. You stay over there. I'm over here. Don't worry about who I'm dating. You know, we just keep it that way. But when it comes to them two boys, that 26 and 21-year-old, you know, and I've always said this, even as we went through the separation process, I said, you can be angry at me. I said, but understand, our sons are going to graduate from college. Our sons are going to get married. Yes. We're going to have grandkids. We're going to be in each other's presence. And until you get to a place where you can go heal and get over whatever you're dealing with, it's going to make it difficult. And then you're going to end up forcing our children to decide which parent they want around. Mm-hmm. And the thing was, my boys were already daddy boys. I coached my boys from 5 to 5. They can play sports at 5 to do high school. So they were daddy boys. You know, and so I didn't want them to abandon their mom. I never wanted that. So I always pushed the issue. Hey, he's having his birthday party at the house. If you want to come over, you can come over. I always try to extend that. And I believe doing that opened that door to show that, hey, he doesn't hate me. He doesn't. And I didn't. I just always say I was disappointed. That's always my word. But we're at a place now where if I can pick up the phone and call and, you know, if I needed to, hey, can you, you know, because I don't, you know, she's in the same state with the boys right now. It makes it easy. Hey, I haven't talked to, you know, the oldest one, you know, what's going on. It's not an issue if I call, you know what I'm saying? It took time to get here. It took forgiveness. It took understanding. It took prayer, you know, to really walk this out. And I know a lot of people want to be in the, oh, it's toxic. It's got to be toxic. It's got to be anger. If it's not that way, then you're really not broken up and you're really not done with that person. But I remember this pastor said this, and I'm going to end it with this. And he said, love never fails. He said, if you said you love somebody, to say you don't love them now means you never loved them, because love never fails. And that was so powerful when I heard it a couple of months ago. But it's real. How do you to say now that you hate that person? You don't, you know, I'm like, wow. Did you have to get to a place you hated them to leave them? That means you never loved them to begin with.
Right.
You were just there. So
that's some good stuff, man. Well, I will tell you, raising your sons is like, I mean, you giving them something that's like priceless. You put it's a lot of value in a man raising his sons. In an ideal world, that's the way it should be. Because you're, like you said, you are the father, you're the male, so you're instilling that proper male in them. So that's awesome, man.
I appreciate it.
I commend you for that, Charles. Good job.
Maritza, you have any parting words for the people? Some encouragement? I'm gonna let everybody do a quick, just 2 second encouragement outro to the folks, and you know.
Just don't be afraid to love.
There you go.
Just don't be afraid to love. Just, you know, go for it if that's what your heart desires. But take your time. Learn that person. And always set boundaries and standards for yourself so you don't repeat the same mistake over again.
Right.
But it's okay to love. It's okay to love again.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Adam?
Oh, really? That's how we're doing it, bro? That's how we're doing it? I've been quiet. I've been chill, man. I've been chill for real. We'll be back to regular business next week. But anyway, I think it'll be. I think it's important that this was a really good conversation. Let me just say that.
It really was. You guys did awesome. This was good.
Yeah. Healthy, wholesome, honest conversation. Yeah. We need to have more conversations where we're talking about real stuff in terms of being single again and having to get back on a dating scene, as scary as that is. But I think one of the things that I would make paramount importance in this conversation is make sure that you get healed after your divorce. I think so many of us who are divorced haven't taken the time to get healed or to get whole. We're walking into new relationships still leaking, if you will, still wounded, still bleeding all over people. Get healed first. Seek out some pastoral counseling, some professional therapeutic counseling. Close those old wounds, close that old chapter so that you can begin anew again. So when you walk into your new relationship, you don't walk in with a broken leg and a fracture and trauma to the head, but you walk in as a whole person. Okay, so get healed, John.
That's good. Good. Tay, you want to say anything? It's up to you.
Yeah, well, Adam took mine, so he shared. But I thought about Carl. Love never fails. Like real love never fails, and I concur. Heal and do the work. And it's okay to have a season of being single and loving on yourself first. And once you love on you, you actually start to attract, right? I believe that if I become these things, I'm going to attract that. I'm attracting great friendships. I'm attracting great sisterhoods. So I'm going to attract good relationships because I am doing the work. So just stay open to the possibility, and love does win. I do believe that.
Yeah. Wow. Mr. Carl, anything, sir?
Yeah. Again, the healing thing is big. And to any male watching this, it is nothing wrong, especially Black men. There is nothing wrong with going to therapy.
Yes, please say it again.
Nothing wrong with going to therapy. I still have a therapist. I have a coach. Even though I coach and I counsel hundreds of men, this is real. Go to therapy, because believe me, I learned a lot about myself when I went to therapy. The other thing is, have fun while you're out dating. Throw away the checklist. Throw away the preconceived notion of how it should go. Go have fun. Go have fun, because why do you want to be with a person that you can't have fun with? So go out and have fun and see if they're really genuinely wanting to have fun with you. And just like I said, it's there is somebody out there for you. And we talked about something earlier. When you know you're ready, I didn't respond to this, but I'm gonna say this. You're ready when you're comfortable and content being single.
Either way it goes, right? Like you said. That's good, man. Well, I definitely want to thank all of you guys for joining today. I will say it's beautiful how, I've heard the old scripture where it talks about how God makes all things beautiful in time. So when I see this group of people here in front of me, I think about how resilient you guys are to have taken the step, taken some of the hits, taken some of the emotional beatings that comes with those hits, and children involved or different transitions in your life, and then are able to get back on your feet and still say, that's okay, I'm still here. Whether you took the leap or not, you still here and you're still open for it. So that's kudos to you guys, and I want to appreciate you guys for getting on. We're gonna definitely do this again. I'm definitely gonna call on y'all again, and we're gonna keep these topics swirling and keep it nice and keep it cordial. But I also want to thank the audience for chiming in. Shout out to Derek. Derek is one of my old buddies. We sang together. Derek was chiming in today. Kent was chiming in. A lot of the fellas. It's always good to see men chime in. Just like at church, Shante, it's always the women. But it's always good to see.
Listen, I'm so appreciative.
When men speak, voice of the men. The room. That's a good thing. So I appreciate that. And we'll be doing, like I said, we do this every Thursday, 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5:30 Eastern. So as you guys, and I'll just say, if you guys see me promote some of these topics, and if you got like a burning, you say, hey, I want to speak on that, just shoot me a DM. We can always work things out. But I have my people that I work with. Definitely be talking to you guys, and Carl and I, we connect all the time on the books. And so, yeah, we'll definitely get this thing going. And appreciate everyone for tuning in.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
1 second, guys. Let me go ahead.
Peace.
Peace out. Yes.